by the way.
7:58.
We'll hit record at 7.
It's 6:55. Remember, we are on Central Time, Brad. You need to remember this.
The real time is 7:58. According to Apple,
You're forgetting God's time.
I am talking about God's time. It's 7:58.
You are incorrect, sir. Is it just gonna be us three?
Could be. John said he'd be late.
It's almost like a league race.
What about William?
I haven't heard from William. I know with this weather, he's probably busy as all get out.
Now recording.
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, this is why we have a group. Because sometimes, yeah, people can't show up.
Yeah, I will not be here next Thursday, so I got to be out of town for work. And it was supposed to be Monday through Wednesday because of the winter storm. It's now Tuesday through Thursday.
Nice. Fun.
I'll get the script straight and I'll get it updated and stuff once I get home. But probably won't get home until 9 o'clock or so.
All right. Here we roll. 3, 2. Welcome to the iRacers Lounge. I am your host, Mike Ellis. iRacers Lounge is a podcast for the iRacer where we talk all things iRacing in a casual setting. Joining me are the usual characters, Brad Wren.
Well, after 24 hours, I haven't done a whole lot of racing since.
All right. David, we got a P3, David Hall.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. So yeah. After 25, I've done the league race, and that's about it. No, 2 league races.
On today's show, we'll recap our Daytona 24-hour experiences, see which professional racer has joined Team Redline, another sim to reality story. Are Moses' new wheels Fanatec and Sim Magic killers? What is the best value wheel according to a 2-time Daytona 24-hour winner? Is it time for incident limits and special events? And you suck at sim racing, and that's okay.
And remember that you can follow along with us on your PC or your mobile device in real time as you listen to the show and see for yourself all the great topics and products we'll discuss by visiting iRacersLounge.com. Select the show notes. We hope to see you there.
Well, one thing's for sure, we don't suck as bad as the guy that had 518 or whatever incident points, but we'll get there when we get there. The first question, Brad, is can sim racing prepare you? And this is Jimmy Broadbent telling us a little bit about it.
Yeah, got a video here from Jimmy Broadbent, and it kind of explores the long-standing question: can sim racing actually prepare you for real-world racing? So, kind of looking at this, we'll break the video down a little bit. First thing he talks about is driving fundamentals. He says that sim racing is a theory test for real driving. Modern sims provide highly realistic physics where lap times, apex speeds, and braking zones are very close to the real life counterparts. However, the one missing thing is the butt factor. So, the biggest thing that we don't get in the sim is that sensory, the seat of the pants, feeling your butt. So as he found that real life braking made more sense to him because he'd actually feel the deceleration forces, where in the sim, it's more visual. You don't typically feel it. Talking a little about tires mechanical, forgiveness. He said he felt like that real life racing tires, unlike those in the sim, actually felt better. You didn't feel like you were necessarily in a death spiral or losing grip. Um, he said in sim racing, you're encouraged to overdrive because there's no consequences. We can just hit the reset button is what we can do. It doesn't matter how many times we miss a shift or we over rev the car or anything like that. There's as he calls it, mechanical sympathy. Um,
Before you go on, I want to comment on the one the forgiveness of tires. I wonder if that's because of I think that's directly related to the butt factor because you know you have more information of when the tires are getting a little upset, whereas tends to be a surprise in the sim.
yeah, I mean, I can tell you when I race short tracks, I mean, the the sim was close, but there's a completely different feeling when you actually have gripped up tires. It's a remarkably different feeling. So the fear barrier, and consequences. As I said, we have a reset button. When you get in a real race car, there's no reset button. If you crash, you crash.
I really identified with this part of the video, Brad. He talked specifically about the Nürburgring, my favorite track recently, and how he's been running there on a regular basis, including he ran the 24 hours. But he talked about how you've got to step up to it because this track doesn't have runoffs. There's a lot of fear involved when you take these corners at speed. And so I don't know. I try to think about that as I'm racing that track. I don't have that fear at all. I'm actually totally, that's not even on the table for me as I'm racing the track. I'm just pushing hard. But I can see if you were in a real car and seeing the walls, and you're going so fast, you'd be like, whoa.
Well, yeah, I mean, for us, it's, we can attack every corner at 110% every time because, again, there's no consequence. What happens if you wreck, Mike? What do? You just join the next race.
Yeah, 15 minutes later.
So, but some of the
Unless
advantage,
it's 24 and you wait a whole year.
well, that's true too. So, he did talk a little bit about the advantages of a sim racer, technical knowledge. So he says sim racers often have a higher level of technical knowledge than the average gentleman driver. Again, because typically as a sim racer, what do we end up doing? We're not only we're driver, but we're also engineer typically too. So we're having to strategist as well, set up. I mean, we have to kind of do all of it. Racecraft and traffic. Sims are excellent for teaching racecraft, understanding multi-class traffic, position of the cars, reading the body language to stuff of other vehicles, and then learning the track. Sim racing provides a massive head start. Like you could get out there on the Nurburgring, not that you could go out there and hot lap, but you spent enough time at the track, you could get out there in a car and you'd know exactly where you're going. You're not going to hit a corner and go, oh, what's the next corner? Um, but in conclusion, Broadbent himself confirms that sim racing 100% can help prepare you for real world racing by providing a running start. And I think that's what we continue to see. I think that's one reason that Verstappen is so invested in sim racers. Again, they have a head start, and we've talked before, and even as he said, anybody that's going to come up through the ranks now has got to have spent a considerable amount of time in the sim because it's just an advantage. It's not like you're karting. Karting, you're just learning one track or smaller track, stuff like that. In a sim world, you can go turn laps at Spa. You can turn laps wherever you need to turn laps for the most part and get yourself ready when you actually get there.
Yeah, he was up to speed at the Nürburgring in just like 4 or 5 laps when he went real world, in a car. Just because he had done so many laps virtually like myself, it came easy to him.
Well, that's a good summary. Let's move on to the next one, Mike. Have you tried it? This is from FIA official and iRacing official, and it probably has something to do with the cross car, doesn't it?
Yeah, they do FIA cross car. They're trying to just put out some awareness here about the entry level off road car, that it's been boosting participation. And so they have, since the launch last month, 14,903 people have actually tried the car, with over 43,991 race entries.
Have not even tried it yet.
Yeah, it's
I
fun.
guarantee it gets in the major series next year.
I kind of forgot about it after I tried it, but um, because there's more serious racing to do. But it's a fun little racing. It's an entry level, like it says. Like the first if you have a rookie who's just coming on to iRacing, this is the perfect car to put somebody in.
Imagine if they had to drive it for 12 weeks too.
Perfect. That would be perfect.
That's a preview or a post view because we've said that countless times. All right, next we have some professional team updates. Joining Team Redline is James Baldwin.
Yep. So sim racer turned into GT3 racer. I spent last couple of years doing some, multiple races a year. But yeah, as there was an announcement coming over after the New Year's that he has joined Team Redline. So very accomplished sim racer. So there's the Sim Racing Expo actually has a podcast, and they interviewed him. I listened to that a couple weeks ago, and it's rather interesting to hear him as his way coming up through sim racing. That's how I got to start. Talks about being in his teens, and then realizing that he can make money sim racing, and then even being as new to it as he was, getting to the highest ranks of sim racing. In that GT, I guess I don't know, it was GT, whatever the not Forza, but Gran Turismo and stuff was kind of what he started at. But really interesting. So nice guy, it seems like. Yeah, I think he gives good feedback. It's nice to see somebody that's come from the sim world get to the real world. If you don't watch him on YouTube, he puts out some decent stuff. But glad to see him on Team Redline. It's gets the bench strength even deeper.
I started thinking about like going forward. Is this a thing where established professional drivers, to do just that much better, they need to get on a sim team, like a good sim team, like Team Redline or one of the others, as hey, I need this on my resume.
His resume is pretty hefty in the sim world. So
Well, last week we got to feature an interview from Premier Setups with a couple of our setup builders. This week we get to just brag on one of their customers or actually I guess probably house drivers in a record-setting strength of field maybe 7301 in the C open trucks, and Andrew Navarro took the victory.
yeah, so he's the setup builder for the trucks for a Premier racing setup. So yeah, I came across this and I was like, holy crap, 7,300. That's a huge. So apparently this is the highest SOF um, race in the C Open, I guess, in history. So I mean, dude, that's a stacked field if it's 7,300.
I wonder how many races have been a higher strength of field period in any division, any car.
Wow. I was just thinking, where do you look this up? Where do you have a stats page somewhere that I don't know
No,
about?
we don't have anything called a stats page. We don't have that.
Wait, iRacing doesn't have stats?
Well, I mean, like for your like the last 15, 20 races you ran, yes, but you can't go any back further than that.
So yeah, I'm just curious. How do you really know if it's the highest SOF ever? I'm just curious how you would know that. But I mean, it's a big number, and you could probably make that assumption. But yeah, congrats to Andrew Navarro on the win. But look, Premier Setups. Look, guys, I can't feel more comfortable going into the NASCAR season and Daytona 500 than I am right now with Premier Racing Setups behind us. Prepping us for this season.
Yep.
Like I wouldn't want any other setup package out there. I mean, we all know who they are and I've heard of them and this and that, but look, I'm happy where we're at. This is good.
All right, Mike, we've got a video. I'm assuming it's from DJ EJ talking about how he's kind of stepped away from iRacing a bit. And it goes right in line a little bit with some of the other things we were saying. He's trying to say it's all personal, but I think some of it has to do with just w- certain quality control issues in iRacing lately.
Well, it really started out with the change of the ARCA car. You remember he was the ARCA farmer, as he called himself, or self-titled. But once that new car came out, it was just different for him. And so um, his driving style was completely built around that particular old car and uh, basically running it off the right rear. You know how you would just not turn the wheel, but you get on the gas and get that thing to turn. So he was really driving off the right rear, but the new car, he said, never really balanced between the right rear and just turning the wheel, to the left. Couldn't find that smooth balance, and so lost his competitive edge. Um, working his YouTube stuff. His competitive outlet is now YouTube versus iRacing, and he's actually finding more joy working on videos and stuff versus out there actually running laps. Time constraints. He did coaching, and then he talks, like you said, a little bit about the racing environment. Um, it isn't as fun as it used to be, is the quote. But he does remain, say that it remains the best option for competitive racing on the market as far as iRacing.
Look, I mean, I can't imagine what it's like to try to find time to race, try to do content and all that. I mean, look, it's it's hard enough a full time job, a podcast, and trying to find race time to race and a family and all that stuff. So at some point, something has to give. And I know that hey, look, he's put some long form videos together that I imagine took hours and hours to do. I mean, it's not like you're just sitting down, and doing a 15-minute video, giving your thoughts. I mean, some of the stuff that he's put together over the last year or so, they're 30, 40, 45-minute videos. I would imagine that's probably cut down from probably, I don't know, hour and a half, 2 hours worth of work to begin with. So it's a massive amount of time.
And competing with the YouTube algorithm, I hear a lot of people are constantly fighting it as well.
I always get the envy of the YouTube creators who get the free products, because they review them and this and that. But man, you got to remember there's a lot of work behind it, and you got to ship the stuff back and just put it together, take it apart. It's a whoosh, editing videos.
Well, John, you missed us talking about Redline earlier, but we got another topic about Redline as well.
Yes, we do. We've got Max Verstappen on X from Team Redline talking about the 2026 season that's coming up. Yeah, it's just about a minute long, and Max is telling us, what he's looking forward to, what he's going to do, and I have little doubt in my mind we're going to see a lot of Max on iRacing in 2026, and he probably wants that F1 championship back. I would think.
Yeah, he talks a little bit about the GT3 team, and one of the things he says is we're at the point now where we can't hide. So you're either all in or you're not. They started last year with the with GT World Challenge, doing some of the sprint and the endurance races. But as he said, basically this year you're all in. They're full bore at it. And then talked a little bit about Team Redline itself in regards to the sim team. He said that's probably one of his least worries. He said those guys are very confident in what they do. Very consistent. He has little worries that when they show up to a race, they're going to be competitive.
I think you're going to see Max participating in more of those GT3 races than he did last year. I think I saw they were petitioning one of the tracks to adjust the schedule just so Max could participate.
Yeah, yeah, the Nurburgring. I asked him to push it back a week because it's the actual race is now in conflict with one of the Grand Prix.
Could you imagine if, like, Kyle Larson was asking Indy if they'd move the 500 so he could run that in the 600?
Well, if Max shows up at the 24 Hours of Nürburgring, I guarantee he's going to draw a bigger crowd than Kyle Larson is showing up at Indy. I'm just being honest with you.
Well, speaking of 24 hours, let's talk some numbers from 24 hours, which we ran last week. We've got post race recap numbers: 21,028 drivers with 6,072 teams. We had 104 splits, and so that's probably across the 4 different start time zones, and 3.5 million laps completed.
Hey Siri,
We
how many
had
people raced in the iRacing
12.5
Daytona
million
24-hour
miles
race in
with a total of
2025?
106,000 hours of racing, and that's all of them.
Yeah, so we did the 7 a.m. Eastern time slot, and I know when I loaded in, it was just under 3,000 teams in that one split alone, or not split, but that one time.
Well,
Whatever
that's the prime time start zone.
it is. Yeah, it is. But I mean, it was just under 3,000 teams, which is that's just it's amazing.
So, does anyone know what the number was last year? We've got 21,000 this year.
You know, if there was a way I could search the stats, it could probably
Oh
tell
yeah,
me.
stats page. Oh,
I'll try Chat GTP, so I'll get back to you on that question while y'all talk about the top split winners, Mike.
yeah. So iRacing and VCO Sports, along with Williams Esports, put out the top split winners in this split anyway was Drago Racing in the GTP. The LMP2 was Grid and Go Esports, and then GTT William F1 Team Gaming. Well done. Next was a hit about rain. I found a couple TikTok videos, uh, and I saw some commentary in the forums that some of the splits had some very heavy rain, and it was some people were saying undrivable. But we do have some videos here about what one person called diabolical rain.
All right, so you guys did the 2 a.m. split, right? Did you have rain?
No,
So this must have been the Friday start time. So yeah, I was trying to figure out which split actually had rain because the 7 a.m. one we didn't have it. Um, yeah, look, I'm just woefully confused how iRacing. I just don't understand their philosophy when it comes to a forecast. You know, I think the forecast was around 5% rain was what it was, and uh, I mean we were talking during our race because there was a lot of chatter about I guess the amount of rain that was hours worth, and I guess it was that Friday split, but if the weatherman calls for 5% rain, I'm not taking a raincoat. I'm not taking an umbrella. Are you? Because I'm not.
right. I asked David, should I practice in the rain? And David, I think you said maybe, but probably not.
We stayed dry the whole time.
I still just can't seem to figure. I mean, and there was some forum chatter, and somebody from iRacing tried to explain it, and I just was like, "Yeah, that you're making no sense, buddy. No sense whatsoever." I guess they just don't use the same logic that a meteorologist would use when you're given a forecast. Is my guess.
I'm sure, some teams were caught off guard in that split, about because like us, I didn't practice rain. I just assumed it was going to be okay, and they probably did the same. And then boom, it's heavy rain. It's like, oh crap.
Well, last year in 25, I mean, the split we were in had 12 hours of rain. 12 hours. At no point was that any part of the forecast. Not 12 hours.
Now this next one, David, is a video that somebody has put together of a particular team that ended up with 518 incident points over the 24-hour race. We got a forum post and a video about it. And that was a little comical, but it has brought up the discussion in the forums about, do we need an incident limit for special events? Now, as that discussion has played out over the last days, we did have Greg West from staff weigh in saying, yes, we are looking into this and perhaps going to incorporate a DQ limit in future special events.
We had a very spirited, or rather, there was a very spirited conversation on our Discord after this video was posted. And look, 518 points is absolutely ridiculous. That is somebody coming into this race that has not taken it at all serious. And that's an issue to me. And I skimmed, kind of flipped through this, and I watched this team, I mean, literally destroy probably 15 or 20 other competitors. That's a problem. That's a huge problem.
And it was different. It's a team, right? It's not just one person that was doing it, right?
Correct. One of the things I still don't understand, and I mean, we had this debate on Discord as well. I just don't understand if we're going to have a regular weekly class, IMSA, where you have to be an A class driver in order to race. Why in the world do we open special events up to C class drivers? I just don't understand it. If the requirement is to compete in that on a weekly basis, you have to be an A class driver, then the same thing should apply towards a special event that's going to run under that class banner. Am I wrong?
I don't have a problem with that.
I don't think so either because they don't really have any other place where they can run this particular car, right? Especially against a GTP.
But what
Um,
astonished me about this and watching this video, in the real world, if that car took that many hits, there's no way they could finish the race or even half of it. I mean, I don't even know how you fix a car that much.
Well,
You,
that's part of the other problem is if unless you do some sort of catastrophic damage, the way that iRacing is now, if you spend long enough time in the pits, you can get the car back to 100%. That's a problem. Shouldn't be that way. Should
yeah,
absolutely not be that way.
there's we definitely have a source that says once the timer's at zero on the repairs, it's back to perfect. And I do remember back in the old days when we after we had fixed a car in a 24-hour race, it was never the same in the old days. But now you stick around, you get it completely back.
I remember that too. Like the car would be 20% slower the rest of the day. And then you'd be like, okay, I'm going to park it because this isn't even fun.
Another thing is I seem to recall in the Discord some discussion about these guys basically all kind of fast tracked even to get to the C license to run this race.
Join the service, I think, in December.
Wrong. Look, yeah. So leaving like our new teammate Doug Beatty, he decided not to jump into the Daytona 24 with us because he's just not ready yet. He's going to take another year and drive the cars like you said and run the IMSA and next year, it's his goal to get into this race.
They joined the service in December. Say that again.
That going through the Discord channel, it was that my understanding was it was sometime in December was when they joined the service.
Okay. Do we need any more proof that fast track is ruining the service?
Yeah, good
Yeah,
point.
it's just it's look, put in the time. I mean, look, I race IMSA every single week, and I guarantee you between just practice, league, running the majors race, I bet you I probably put in 400 or 500 laps preparing for this. That's how serious you have to take it. I mean, that's how serious I take it because I don't want to go out there and be a hazard to somebody.
Additionally, you came up driving Mazdas and then specs or something like that, and GT in the lower class GTs for a while, right? You didn't
Yep.
run the Daytona 24 hours after only being a member for a month.
No, I didn't. I didn't. Well, we had to work our way up. I mean, again, it was every 12 weeks before you could advance, was the way it was. And I still think that gave us better racing. The racing was better at the lower levels because you knew you were there for 12 weeks. And most of the time, you were still racing the same guys every single week because you were all trying to work through through the process, and get out of that class.
All right, next up was a win with Parker Kligerman. He won his split, iRacing Daytona 24, with teammates Bob Bryant, Derek Wood, John Gorlinski. Well done, Parker. I love the title. Will the stewards take this one away?
Yeah, I could. I had to put that in there. You know, he won the truck race, Daytona truck race in 25, and then they took the win away from him. And you know, he filled in, if you remember, for Connor Zilic in Daytona in the Xfinity race in the fall, and you know, got the win, but doesn't get the win. So good for Parker. He can go ahead and print out that iRacing. You know, you've won the race, and no one can take it away from you now.
Yeah, get a frame for that. And then the last 24 story was Osman, Cosman Joyce, so I butchered that, sorry, put up on the X platform a short video showing him getting plowed on purpose, totally taken out, as well as the aftermath chat that happened, via DM during the race from the person who did it. But yeah, he compared it to console lobbies.
Yeah, the one thing we don't have with this is context. I have no idea what split this is or where it is, what level they're at. But again, there's no reason for this. I mean, look, he ran a little bit wide and got into the guy. That's racing. I don't have a huge issue with that. I mean, should he been a little bit more aware when he came back on? Yes, but for the guy just to freaking drill him as he goes into the first horseshoe, that's ridiculous.
He killed both their teams, and yeah, but it happens.
All right, John, we got another sim to reality story.
Yes, we do. And this time it's with a microphone. We've got Blake McCandless. He did an X post saying he's going to be joining NASCAR on Fox and CW Sports as a pit spotter in the upcoming season. Good for him. Blake uh, I think he's done a lot of announcing on iRacing, big part of iRacing, but basically he explains it as think of how a broadcast booth in sports generally has a statistician. It's essentially that type of role, but catered to pit reporters, an extra hand to coordinate and retrieve info. So he's going to be right in the thick of things down in the pits. Uh, I think that'd be a great job to have.
Yeah, and then reading through the replies on his post, he's planning to continue to still to call all of the car store races as well. So that's where he got his booth start with, was in the car store. So look, I firmly believe Blake is probably going to end up, either we'll go from this to either something in the booth, may go the MRN route or something. I firmly believe he's going to be one of those guys that will probably be a fixture in broadcasting as we go into the future. So he does a good job.
He does. I think he has a great voice for it and calls the action well. And so, yeah, well done.
All right, ready for some more blood boiling, Brad?
Yeah, so I got a video here that I put up. So during our Daytona 24, we had a guy that had, in my opinion, two very unsafe rejoins, and the video here's the first one. This was the most egregious one. I protested the guy for the unsafe rejoin, and I put in the second one that was just as unsafe. And surprise, surprise, the response I get back was no penalty, basically, because he didn't cause any damage to our car. Um, I'm really not sure how that has anything to do with whether or not someone makes a safe or an unsafe rejoin when you pull back out directly in front of traffic. That's really not a very safe rejoin.
So wait a minute. So I'm watching this video, and when the car comes to a stop after the spin, Brad, all four wheels are off the racing surface. And
Yes, and
then
he
he
pulls back
drives
one.
back onto the racing surface, right?
Yep, right in front of us.
Straight across.
Yeah.
This is just bullshit. I don't have a better word. This is bullshit. This is more of the same bullshit that's coming out of that stewarding crew. That they would just say this is not a penalty. It's just flat out bullshit. I don't know what they're thinking.
So what
Yeah,
should
so
have the
here,
driver
here's
done?
here,
Back up?
here's he should have sat there is what he should have done. So here's the language. After reviewing the replay, we understand your frustration, but we do not feel that this rejoin was a violation as it did not result in any contact or have any negative impact on your race or others. Now, we hit the wall to avoid him. Had we not hit the wall, we would have either hit him or hit the LMP2 that he pulled right in front of as well. So again, it's just it's just it's mind blowing. I just don't get it.
Yeah, this is just not acceptable, and it's going to start really coming back to bite and cost iRacing. I'm sorry. I'm starting to sound very critical, and I am. I'm starting to become very dissatisfied overall. So there it is.
I don't understand how. Look, if you don't, so it's only a penalty if you wreck somebody. Is that
I guess. I
okay?
mean,
Well, but if you pull over to use the restroom under a caution and don't wreck anybody, you get a week off.
I mean, again, there's if we're going to simulate real racing, there needs to be some simulation of what would happen in real life. I mean, it's just you just don't pull or right back onto the track like that. And this is probably 2.5 hours into a 24-hour race. This is Will's first stint, Williams' first stint. So I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And this stuff just keeps happening. It's never going to stop because they're not willing to do anything about it.
All right, John, since you're the most chill person in the room right now, I'll take the next topic.
Well, I will say, not to beat the dead horse, but the guy didn't even stop long enough to even see if anybody was coming. And to me, that's the problem. He just floored it, went back out there. Anyway, so our buddy Brett at Maverick Simulations did a post on Instagram. And if you guys, listeners, remember, he's the guy that makes the sprint car simulators out of actual sprint car parts. He's going to be at a car show in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania this weekend. He's going to bring in 3 of his simulators to the car show at teaming up, I think, with the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania Motor Speedway. Be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you're anywhere near Pittsburgh, you got to go see Brett's product. It's pretty awesome, especially if you love dirt cars.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. So he's got 3 simulators there. One of them is actually he's got which I didn't know he had. It's basically like a go-kart simulator, which is pretty neat. So just a short video, ran across it. I think Brett does a good job, and just want to give him a shout out and give him a little bit of air. So super cool guy, and he's got the big, the big full chassis simulator is going to be there as well.
All right, Mike, do you suck?
Well, that's the first item on the random call sign video. He calls it 7 hard truths about sim racing. Number 1, you will suck. And boy, I think we all go through this. We wreck. I wreck out of the lead a lot, sometimes just making mistakes. Um,
Sometimes you get speeding penalties at a 24-hour race.
yeah, I mean, you do stupid stuff, right? So you will screw up. That's part of sim racing. So that's why it's number 1. Number 2, the only way not to suck is training. Ooh, ouch. Touche. Number 3, spending money won't make you suck less. That's true. You can't buy your way out of suckness.
That's There's a caveat to that though, that if you have equipment that's not sufficient, it will slow you down. It's not Spending money is not going to give you more talent, but you can be held back by bad equipment.
He does say the only money that makes you faster is training tools. 5, embrace the suck. A title idea. Number 6, sucking at the hobby isn't actually fun. Yeah, I have fun. Number 7, the hobby isn't just GT3 at Spa. Boy, I can't drive this home enough, guys. There is so much to do in iRacing. Get out there and do it. Don't get, pigeonholed in a hole. Now, if you don't have fun, this will suck. That's his final thing, number 8.
Now, look, I think with anybody gets into sim racing the very first time, yes, you'll suck. You just have to spend time doing it. But again, you got to find the fun in it. I am a look. I'm perpetually stuck in the same series, and I don't ever branch out and do anything differently. I need to try to do that, but I don't. I just don't, Mike. You run all kinds of different stuff, and I just don't. I stick like to one or two things, and that's all I ever do.
Well, remember, it's all about having fun. And if you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. So try something different. But yeah, great video.
I guess I get my variety from the other hobbies I have other than iRacing, whether it's whether it's flying, I do the flight sim, and also I just get to play a lot of gigs and things like that. Things away from the computer.
Sim Racing Expo, just a kind of quick hit here. Haven't been much announcements over the last few days, but they are starting to do press accreditation. So again, this is the Sim Racing Expo to be in Charlotte, May 22nd through the 24th. I anticipate this to be a very big show. I've already booked my hotel. Wife and I are going to go. Going to try to spend some of her money. Not my money then. If she goes with me, it's her money, not my money.
But Brad, you need that Sparko jacket, when you're on
Not
the floor.
absolutely not. $700. Are you drunk?
Yeah, we found a nice Sparko jacket that would be perfect for the Sim Racing Expo for Brad to wear on the showroom floor.
That's more than I paid for my Sparko seat.
Yeah, I don't even have a Sparko seat. I mean, that just ain't happening.
Oh my goodness. All right, next up, we have a feature that I might have to use sometime because usually by the end of the year, nobody else wants to run any endurance events anymore. And it's been the pattern for the last 3 years, I think, or so. Find the right team, simteamarchitect.com. Um, so we're not going to go into too many details about it because Marius, the creator of this site, is going to come on the show next week. And he did happen to be, we kind of got to know him. He's already in our Discord, but we had several fans in our split that we raced. And they contacted us after the race and mentioned that we were running with these guys and told us about this guy's project. And then I told him, hey, you should come on the show. And he's like, cool. And it's exciting to see how excited he is about it now.
Yeah, it'll be fun to talk to him about his website, simteamarchitect.com.
All right, and it's already that time again. The next round in the majors is coming up. It's called the Intimidator, and it is going to be the Cup cars at Daytona this year.
Makes sense with the name, the Intimidator.
Yeah, they always run the 500. It's the major series. They have some rotation, but pretty much the Indy 500 never goes away, and the Daytona 500 never goes away. Um, they just changed the car.
Like we did the 87s last year.
Mm-hmm.
February 1 is the race.
Registrations. I got the email today. Actually, the registrations just opened up today. All right, Brad. What else we got this week?
Kind of a light week, but we do have, just as we mentioned up above, the FIA Cross Car is at Witten Motor Speedway. The FIA F4 Regional Tours. We've got the Americas are at Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. Asia Pacific is at Fuji. Europe is at Barcelona. And the Ringmeister, that is Mike's forte here. The last few months will be the Ford Mustang FR 500S at the Nordschleife.
Yeah, we lost participation on that series completely because everybody is now running this week the Toyota GR86 Cup Series at the ring. And so nobody's running the Ford anymore because the Ford Mustang sucks. It doesn't turn.
I haven't driven that car in probably since, I don't know, 2013, 2014. It was a challenging car back then.
It sounds great, goes fast, but boy, when you want to turn it. Podcast housekeeping. Leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform to make it easier for more listeners to find the podcast. Mention the podcast to your fellow drivers so they don't miss out. We would appreciate it. Get involved in our Discord, guys. Like Brad just said, there's all kinds of stuff going on in there. People talking about their 24-hour race, sharing their paints, talking about purchases. We had one guy in there debating about buying a computer. Should he wait? Should he do it? He finally did it. Yeah, there's lots of fun going on. So get involved. Show notes at iRacersLounge.com. And we are in regular rotation at Performance Motorsports Network. You can get your hats and t-shirts at iRacersLounge.shop.
Right, we had a league race at California in the iRacers Lounge League. Christian Chandler took the win, just kind of walked away with this one. Grady Gherkin followed up in second. Colin LaFrance followed up with a podium in third. And then in the points, it's Christian's also starting to pull away with the points. He wins a lot. He's good. He's fast. He'd probably still be a Coke Series driver if he wasn't in iRacing.
He's an alien, yeah, as I call him.
Yeah. Justin Thompson's followed behind with he's 69 points behind, which is still within striking distance with 2 races to go, as well as the 2 drop weeks being a factor. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. If Justin gets a win, that's worth 100 points. Grady is hanging out 170 behind as well. And then you get down into the meat of the standings. You can see who's been getting all the top 5s and who hasn't. It's really kind of split us into 2 tiers, which is good. I like the way that it's playing out. Also, the money, we've been paying $5 per race to the winners and $5 to the lucky dog. Last week, I finished in the lucky dog spot. This week, I did not, but then we'll also be paying out the top 15 in points. So we got 2 races left, but if you want to come and race the Gen 4, it's still a good time to do it. Brad, this first seat is not a Sparko seat.
No, it's not. So we got a couple hits here that Mike threw in the script from Momo. I've got a couple wheels and we got a seat as well. This is the Daytona Evo. Nice looking seat. I'm sure it's stupid expensive, but actually looks pretty comfortable. I kind of like the way it looks.
Yeah, I do too. This really speaks to me. This is a high end seat, probably a high end
Yeah.
price, like you said.
Oh, I'm sure it's very. I'm sure it's very high end.
This is a regular race seat, by the way, not a sim seat specifically. This is a proper FIA approved and all that.
But I mean, again, if you want something that's comfortable, you need to spend a little bit of money on it. It's just what it is. I mean, I've got an NRG and I've been okay with it. I will probably replace this at some point, but I didn't spend a ton of money on it either. Just getting back into getting everything done. But at some point, I'm going to pull the trigger and I will probably buy a nice real race seat because I want something that that I'll spend the next 10 years or whatever in and not have to do anything. This has some points, and there's after the 24 hours there was a few some bones that were a little muscles that were a little sore, stuff like that. But is it workable? Yes, but there's more comfortable stuff out there.
Yeah, and then moving on to the wheels you mentioned, they have a new for 2026 oval wheel and 380 millimeters, nice and big.
That's really big.
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. Would you use this in sim racing? I don't know. This is actually, I think, designed, for real race cars, not necessarily sim, but
No. I mean, Momo makes some stuff, and you can get some of their lower end stuff, and you can bolt it on and use it in a sim rig and be fine. I like some of their smaller oval rims are nice, but this one's almost too nice to have, unless you're trying to go for a certain look or you're trying to mimic, an older car or something.
well,
That's what
that's
I.
the next one, Brad, with the white. It's a beautiful white, creamy white kind of finish or Alcantara, I guess it is. Oh man, I love the look of it.
I all I see is black marks from your hands. That's all I see. Even if we wear gloves, that's all I see.
It's too white, right? Okay.
Get white gloves.
Yeah, that one is neat. It's got it's like a Japan or racing spirit of Japan. Is the idea behind it or inspired by the rising sun?
Only 199 units being made. So there you go. That ought to tell you how probably expensive it's going to be.
Well, what about your bright lime green wheel? I mean, you got any black on that or?
Nope. No, I haven't used it yet, other than just turning a few laps. I'm holding that off, reserving that for the Daytona 500. So that is sitting there, just waiting to be bolted on, and I'll use it for. I'll probably use it for the Intimidator next week. So that'll get it. It'll get its inaugural use next week for practice and qualifying and stuff.
Well, that is also a Daytona 500.
Yes.
And you win, you get a coin.
They doing the coins, or they doing the trophies for that? I don't remember now. Mech, they went to the trophies.
Mech's going to trophies, but majors is still coins.
Okay.
Gary wanted to do something, or Garion wanted to do something a little bit different for Mech. Just wanted to distinguish it. All right. Well, speaking of distinguishing, is this wheel distinguished enough to be a Fanatec and Moza killer? Or no,
It
this is Moza.
is. I think it is. The answer is yes. OC Racing put up a video here on the Moza Racing KS Pro wheel. I actually got to put my hands on this at the Micro Center the other day, and I was blown away by the way the grips feel. I mean, I put my hands on every wheel in that place, and the grips on this one felt better than any other wheel. And this one is so much cheaper at $330. Look, just last week we had Daniel Morad telling us the Conspit 300 GT
Hey,
was the
hey,
best.
that's in the script. We'll get
Oh,
there.
that's later today. Okay, so yeah, we're going to talk about Daniel saying that the Conspit with this little tiny display was a really good value. But I'm going to challenge that and say that this new Moza wheel actually surpasses that. It's got the little display. Like I said, it's got the smoking great grips, lots of, good buttons and so forth, paddles, everything you like. Um, it even has the little buttons on the back side of the wheel, which are kind of neat.
Yeah, then we got a video from Kareth kind of saying the same thing. So, and he so actually talks about the KS Pro and the CS Pro. CS Pro is an oval version. Um, with the got the display on there as well. So yeah, Moser really stepped up the game with the release of these. They both look really good. On the CS Pro, he mentions the grips, Mike. Same thing that you said, but CS Pro is the oval one. Design and usability said it feels natural for more powerful road cars. Um, he said he did have a little bit of inconsistency with the shifter paddles right out of the box. So there were a little bit soft presses that failed to register. But technology and software, both of them integrated screens. Both of them said they have the same 3-inch screen. Now again, not SimHub compatible. So this is gonna have to work natively with the Moza Pit House. So if you do like SimHub, this is not compatible with SimHub. Um, Quick release, same thing as the typical Moza quick release. And then we've also got a video from the Sim Pit talking about the CS Pro wheel as well. And again, just gives high regards in order to the build quality, the integrated display, pros and cons. Which is one thing I like with Sim Pit always does this. The good, the value, $329. Rigidity, so very, very rigid, very rock solid. Superior to high tier. So reviewer, he says it actually prefers the CS Pro over a more expensive, I guess the RS model, which is it's another Moza model. Said some of the issues he had was a reach issue. It's a 13-inch wheel, so it's pretty big. Now Sean's got smaller hands, but had some issues getting to some of the encoders. And then again, the software limits were you can't use SimHub, so you're strictly just to the Moza Pit House using that. But look, I don't think anybody saw these coming, and yeah, Moza kind of knocks it out of the park again.
I think back to when I bought my Formula wheel. There were not these options did not exist. There were no options between $250 to $500 at all, especially
Kind of
with a
was.
display.
Yeah, maybe with the display, but there was the Fanatec Club Sport.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, besides that, but and so I guess my point is man, to be coming into sim racing now and having these as an option. Like if I was building out a rig right now and needing to buy a Formula wheel, I'd probably end up in one of these cheaper Formula wheels, probably just because there's so much value in that. And instead of spending over $1,000 on a Formula wheel, you this thing is 90% there of all those ones that are over 1,000. Great deals.
All right, Brad. Did you just decide to say SimuCube Hue? Oh no, it's actually in the video thumbnail, isn't it? It says SimuCube Hue, and
Yeah,
it's a video by Lawrence DeSoswa, one of the hardest last names to say. It's literally a tongue twister. Say it
that's
three times fast.
that's why we just say Lawrence.
Just
I'm not,
the LD. Just call him the
yeah,
old LD.
yeah, we got a video from LD. How about that? So talk about the VNM wheelbase. So this is reviewing the 13 Newton meter. Um, and it's I guess it's and the Apex steering wheel that comes with it. So Lawrence does a really good job. I like the way he reviews. He kind of goes through the whole unboxing and all that. Um, the V and M we've seen. We talked about gosh, we talked about them ages ago, and it was like, what's V and M? But got a lot of good feedback, not just from him, but from some other reviewers as well. Looking at the steering wheel, premium controls, adjustability, clutch paddles, gear shifters are all adjustable. Kind of heavily dampened, so a little bit quieter. Most of us that have, with paddle shifters, there's that pretty loud clicking goes. Um, the wheel can be used in USB mode with third-party bases, so you're not locked in completely to the V&M ecosystem. You can use it on other wheelbases. Did have some setup challenges, software, kind of the firmware hiccup. He said experienced a frustrating start with the wheelbase provided no force feedback out of the box. He ended up getting some help from them and got that fixed. The software experience, he says, with V&M is functional but feels a bit DIY. And I think this is probably still some of them just kind of coming into their own as they continue to expand. But driving impressions, force feedback quality, he said once he had it configured, was highly detailed and intuitive. He compares it to the Caliber feedback with the SimiCube 2 Pro. So responsiveness, notes that the wheels, it's excellent, communicating car momentum, front end changes and stuff. Then the power perception, even being 13 Newton meters, it feels potent enough that it doesn't seem to struggle, even with a larger 330 millimeter rim. Final verdict, Lawrence concludes that while there's some technical barriers, and again, some of the feedback I've seen with their software is it's still pretty basic. He says the driving experience and everything's exceptional for that price bracket. And look, we've seen, I think it's Race Beyond Matter, and I think even Oh, Dan Suzuki is using V&M now as his everyday driver. So it's not the script. I'll probably throw it in there for next week. But Lawrence also did a video talking about telemetry feedback and stuff, and using the V&M as a base model for that. And I think they've got some really good stuff going on. Still, just a little bit early for me if I was going to be an adopter, but I don't think you're going to go wrong if you end up going the V&M route.
Agreed. And I mean, Lawrence basically says it's superior to the Moza R12 or Acetec La Prima. But the big red flag for me is he took it out of the box and it didn't work. I mean, that's a huge red flag. But once, like he said, once he got it up and running, the driving experience is exceptional.
Yeah, I mean, I just think they're still having some firmware issues. I mean, Mike, even you with the Mazda pedals, I mean, you had some issues with firmware and software and stuff like that too. So anything that's new, I mean, it's just one of those things that happens. Next one's for you, David.
Except that I didn't. I was just looking it over and I did not watch it. I'm set on VR, man. The Pimax is what we're looking at though is sim racing without a screen, and it's basically augmented reality glasses. Um, but that's about all I can tell you right now. I did not get to watch the video.
And they're Beast XR glasses from Vichy. Um, and he basically was trying to sim race with these glasses, and they're like, your typical Ray-Ban, sunglasses look with little camera holes on each side. And um, but yeah, there's a way using a specialized dock to he connected the glasses via HDMI to the PC. He ran the Assetto Corsa and iRacing without a monitor with it.
Yeah, looking at our breakdown here, there's definitely a lot of cons. It's got a higher latency than monitors, and I know there's not really any more latency on the VR than there in the monitors. Some audio issues, and this is the biggie. It's not like VR where it's just a 2D flat screen, so it's not giving you 3D depth perception. So there's like, what's the point?
Yeah, I don't think that's your go-to, but kind of neat.
I think you'd be better off with a single monitor than these.
Oh, maybe in a sim racing application, I mean, maybe in some other gaming, it may be okay too.
All right. All right. Wind Force Hyperburst GPU cooler. When I first saw this, I thought I should show it to Brad because I thought it was a WinSim kind of thing, but no. What is it, Mike?
It's a bolt-on for your graphics card, and you basically put it on there, and it gives you additional cooling. It almost looks like a 3D printed kind of piece that the card inserts into.
I won't need to worry about it because I won't be able to afford a 5090 in the next year with the way the market's going.
It says 28% better cooling when using this device. I guess my point of view on this product is the NVIDIA should have designed their card to be cool, to run cool enough with whatever built-in cooling system that's incorporated into the card to run as efficiently as needed without having the need to spend extra money on this piece to cool it even further.
Well, or is it people that are pushing their cards even further than what it's supposed to be pushed?
Right, you're just trying to get more performance out of it, maybe.
Yeah,
You're
maybe.
you're the guy who's going to overclock it, or you're going to overclock the 5090. And
No, I'm not, but there's people out there that will, I'm sure. I don't know. These things are loud to begin with. I can't imagine 20. I mean, it probably sounds like a freaking airplane taking off.
wasn't this next one to spend Brad's money too?
Or maybe my money. I like the looks of it. The only thing I'm concerned about is it doesn't quite have as many keys as you do in that area as you have on the number pad, but basically a keyboard with a Stream Deck attached on the side.
It's pretty neat. Um, I, I I mean, I could see this if you're a streamer or you're doing something where you're at a desktop situation. Um, for sim racing, I don't know. I mean, I had a keyboard tray probably for the first 2 months I had the rig, and then I got rid of it because it just got in the way and I didn't use it. So I just, for me, Stream Deck I love. I've got a Stream Deck and it's fine. I don't want it attached to my keyboard.
I'm intrigued by this. I have a keyboard and a full size that sits here next to me, and for it to have a Stream Deck incorporated into it with some extra buttons and knobs that could be used for various things, I think would be valuable. But man, the price wasn't right. How much was it? 350, I think it was. Something crazy.
Oh no. Oh no, 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 no,
Yeah,
no,
that's pretty
no.
steep. All right, well, here's that video from Morad that you said was a competitor video, or that you didn't necessarily disagree as far as the best value will, Mike. This
Yeah,
is not a
so
video. This is an Instagram post.
well, it we do have a he did do a video actually, and
Okay.
so um he tested up 7 sim racing wheels that he has in his house there, and he does a head to head between two of them, and he picks which one's going to move forward, kind of thing. So it's like a competition, and so he goes through different rounds and with the various wheels, Moza, Semicube, Conspit, and a couple other the PSC. What is that? Performance Sim Engineering. Yeah, and as I already said, at the end he ended up with the Conspit, which was one of the cheaper options out of all of them.
Yeah, I mean, this was a pretty good video. I mean, he rolls through each one, and I mean, I was quite surprised that he got rid of the higher end wheels as quickly as he did. And I think he addressed some of the things that look, not everybody can go out and afford to buy a 1700 rim. I mean, SemiCube Savo Pro, 1700 bucks versus the Conspit Max. Consummate Max wins. It's $700, got a screen. It's the build quality's it's just as good. But like watching the video, I mean, he even gives some ergonomic things that he has issues with some of the wheels. I mean, like the SemiCube Pro, the SemiCube Savo Pro, just it felt it's like you say, it felt funny. It felt like the wheel needed to come down further. The grips needed to come down lower. Um, but yeah, so the Conspit, that was round two, the Conspit Max 01. Then round three, you got the Conspit Max 01 up against the LMX wheel. That's one with a screen. That's a $2,500 wheel. Guess what? The Conspit Max does everything the other one does at a third of the price.
I think
If you
that
have,
round right there was a real teller. I mean, that, like you said, a $2,500 wheel compared to a $330 wheel, and just based on feel and his his little run through, he picks the cheaper one.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was interesting because, like you said, even as he was getting up in more expensive wheels, I mean, there was one of them that he said the video was, the shifter paddles on the cheaper wheel felt so much better than the high end wheel. So, that's the one thing that a lot of us don't get to do is you don't get to actually physically put your hands on this stuff. And that's why it's important. When you have an opportunity like you did, Mike, if you can go to Micro Center or somebody like that that has a wide range of them, again, going to the Sim Gaming Expo or the Sim Racing Expo, when you can physically put your hands on this stuff, because most of the time we don't get a chance to do that. And you can feel the difference. I mean, look, going and picking up a GSI wheel, you picked up a GSI wheel. They are heavy, but they're so solidly built. Go pick up you pick up a Cube Controls wheel and you can feel the quality in that. You pick up a cheaper wheel and you can feel the lack of quality in that. And I mean, we trust all these reviewers and these YouTubers and stuff like that, but when you get the chance where you can actually go pick up a wheel, that's what you need to be able to do.
Now, I firmly believe that if Daniel Morad had in his possession that new wheel from Moza that we just talked about at $330, that one probably would have won out. I do believe.
Would have been. I mean, I think that wheel and the Conspit 300 are basically on par. I mean, just neck and neck. I mean, it almost looks like the same wheel.
Where's Justin when we have this particular title? We really need him for this one,
Yeah, but it's not signed.
but it could be signed.
It's big enough.
Well, why don't you tell us how big it is, John?
Well, I'll tell you, it's 20 centimeters. Top that. But basically, a company called IG&I, they have created an extension shaft to go with the Samagic Alpha Evo wheelbases. Uh, 20 centimeters long, and basically it maintains connectivity between your wheel and your base to get it extended, which I've got one on my Moza. I actually bought the Moza brand. It's a good idea to do this because what it allows you to do, if you can position your steering wheel away from where the base is, then you can bring the monitors in and out and just get a better view. So, and this thing's pretty reasonably priced. I mean, it's what, 99 bucks, I think is what the price was. Uh,
But so it actually carries the power through in the connectivity, right? It's just not a mechanical connection.
Correct. Yeah, it passes through the shaft. Which is good because you don't have to get some kind of external USB cable or anything to hook it up with. So, uh, and I think they have 6 centimeter, 10, 15, 20. So, you know, measure twice, buy once. But if you've got the Samagic Alpha Evo, you ought to be looking into this option.
So I think it brings up a bigger discussion, John, about should you incorporate, extensions and shaft extensions into your build when you build up a rig? Um, I think yes. I mean, I have extensions on both of my wheels because I think I just want the base away from me. I don't want it up right on my face. But Brad, I think you're actually running without extension.
Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, I have a small. Um, it's probably I don't know, 50 millimeter extension. No, it's not even that much. It's probably about a 2 centimeter. It just goes on right on the back just to give a little bit more room from the base. But look, wheel extensions are great if you've got freestanding monitors. If you've got integrated monitors, they don't work that well just because you can't get the base that far away from you. If you got a freestanding monitor, if I ever go to freestanding monitors, then yes, I will put my base completely behind my monitors and just have the shaft coming out. But the way, like, I've got a Track Racer TR 160, and the way that the monitors are up there as close as I can get them. There's no way for me to get my base behind there.
Yep.
But
And another consideration, if you have button boxes that attach to the base, you might not be able to reach those button boxes.
yeah, so. But no, I mean the shafts are great. Again, yes, the goal is to try to get that base. You want the monitors as close as you can get to you, and if that means you need to put the base behind it, and then you just got a longer extension shaft that's coming out, that's ideal. That's what you'd have in a real race car anywhere. I mean, imagine most your race cars you're going to have probably. You got a steering shaft that's going to come out. It's the base. Your base is going to be further away. So again, but it's just however your rig is set up.
When I built my setup, I didn't plan it. It happened by happen chance, just because I realized that the uprights I put way too far from me, but that's where they were as far as comfort goes because there's button box attached to it and so forth. So then I realized, oh wow, I really do need an extension to make this work so I can get the wheel close enough to me. Now, I could have took the uprights and moved them closer and not done the extensions, but then the button box would be right up against me, and I don't want that.
All right, I got the next one. It's a quick hit. It's called iRacing Dashies. And it's a project with a repository that's basically, I think, on GitHub that is has the source code and documentation to build iRacing overlays. It's open source, and it's a program or a platform for building overlays and utilities in iRacing using React and Electron. I don't know what React is, but I'm familiar with Electron. Um, It's built with the intention of being easy to approach for the developers who are familiar with web development, but not needing to have a deep understanding of iRacing's SDDK or C++, or really even having to run iRacing at all. So it's in early development, but this will be interesting to follow. Um, I'm pretty happy with my JRT overlays for the most part, but uh, we'll keep following up if this develops more.
It looks really good when you look at the screenshots of some of the overlays, David, on the GitHub page, scrolling down. I like how you can see the countries right next to the name. Everything's color coded. Yeah, it looks really sharp.
John, I love the picture on the next one because it's an iRacing rig with a roof with shingles. I'm assuming that the actual rig doesn't look like that when you get into the video.
No, it does not. So Daniel Morad wanted to build a canopy or a roof over his car, and so what he does in this video, he goes through and details what the build process was, the cost breakdown, and he also gives advice if you want to do one of these. But I mean, the structure itself, he uses extruded aluminum beams and then foam core panels to block out the light. Put some Alcantara suede vinyl to give it kind of a nice look. Talks about the anchor points and how the skeleton structure is all set up. And I've seen some of these people that do these. It's not something I really want, but it will give you, if immersion's what you want. You want to feel like you're really in a car. You ought to watch this video because he takes it step by step. But I think he spent about $800 to get it done.
Yeah, way too much money.
Well, I found it interesting that he kind of builds like I do, where he's just kind of putting stuff together. Like he cut the foam and he cut it wrong, and so then he has to take the little piece he cut off and he tapes them together, and it's not a big deal because he's going to put Alcantara over it. He like piecing stuff together to make it work, just this MacGyver style.
Yeah, it's neat. I mean, it's again, I get it why people do this. I It's not something I ever want to do. I mean, I run a fourth monitor, so that eliminates it right there. And I'd be way too hot to have that over top of me. Oh gosh, I can't even imagine. And I run in a dark room. Anyway, I'm in the basement, so I turn the lights off. I don't have to worry about it. I can't see anything outside of my four monitors when I'm racing.
I get to see the actual car's roof.
Yes, we know.
Now, I used to run my fourth monitor down below the right one instead of above the top one. Um, But yeah, I'm with you. I'll never in a million years ever have a desire to enclose my rig or put a roof on it. It's too hot as it is.
Yeah, I ran across I don't know, it was either Instagram post or something. I don't know. A guy had actually built a motorized one, which is kind of neat. He'd pull it down, but then he had like a release button. So when he went to get up, the thing would lift up like that so they could actually get out of the rig without hitting it, which is actually it was pretty cool. But again, same scenario. It's just, for me, it's way too hot.
I can't remember if it was in the chat or just came up on one of my feeds somewhere, but there was a I think it was in chat one that said how much where the title said how much did that cost, because it showed a little baby rig. I don't know if you all remember this one. Then kind of a medium sized rig, and then the final rig was an enclosed rig with like completely enclosed. I think it actually had doors on the back.
Yeah, that guy's a former LMP2 driver. So he built that basically to the spec of what to recreate when he was actually in a car. I've seen some other stuff from him. It's super cool. Again, just, it's no way.
Well, he could just plug in the cool system to his helmet.
We showed it. If he'd listened to the show last week, he could have gotten the video on how to build one.
Yeah, isn't that your next spend?
No.
Hmm. What about this motion option? Is this going to be your next spin?
Yeah, probably not. But Got a video here from Dan Suzuki. It says, can the seat mover feel more real than full motion? So this is the Cubic QS H13 review. So this is a high-end 2 DOF, 2 degrees of freedom seat mover, priced at just under 4,000. It's about 37.49 euros. So that's probably about $4,000. So some of the key features of performance: it's compact, it's quiet. So let's think about this. Your seat is, your seat is attached to this. Your seat's the only thing that's moving. The rest of your rig and all of that is not moving. It's industrial grade actuators. So integrated haptics. I think that's pretty cool. So not only are you going to get the motion, but you're also going to get the vibrations, and that I think the vibrations along with it, most of the motion systems that we see that get very good reviews, and I know some of the stuff that we tried at Sim Gaming Expo, I enjoyed the ones that had the haptics that went along with the motion as well. So again, motion simulations primarily handles pitch. So for braking, acceleration, and then roll and cornering. The seat mover philosophy, Dan kind of explains that moving only the body against fixed controls can create a stronger feedback. So hands versus body, your hands don't need to move to feel motion, but your body does. So you're kind of decoupling the seat from the wheel, allows you to feel the car's rotation through your hips. So I guess ideally to get a little more of that seat of the pants feeling. They said the system is designed for drivers who want information rather than a roller coaster experience. And I think that's what you typically see on some of those higher end stuff. It's more of a roller coaster experience. So does motion make you faster? He said consistency. While I initially thought motion would be a distraction, he actually found he was reliably slower with motion turned off. So I think it's anything that you get used to. I know with me with the haptics, if I try to turn laps without the haptics, it feels really, really weird. You get so used to feeling certain things. It's like it'd be like firing up, turn your force feedback all the way off and try to turn laps. It doesn't feel right.
Even just the one butt kicker that I run, when we got on for the Gen 4 race yesterday, we had a power outage for a couple of hours. I thought I was going to have to plug everything into a battery backup to run the league race. Fortunately, it came back on, but when that particular power cycle happens, the butt kicker goes completely off instead of in what's, I guess, standby mode. And so it wasn't on. It did not turn on when I got into the race, and I spun out the first lap because I couldn't feel the tire slip.
Yep. So subtlety is the key. Again, for motion to be an advantage, it needs to be subtle and fast. Overly dramatic motion setups can actually be a handicap. So some pros and cons. Pros: excellent build quality, top tier software. Again, we've talked about Cubic quite a bit. Teammate Chris Randall has the Cubic stuff, and he's continuing to dial his in. So cons: it is a high price, even for just a seat mover. This is the most expensive seat mover. Harness mounting: there's no built-in mounting points for a harness. So he says, which is a significant oversight for a system meant to be used with a belt tensioner. So yeah, if you're trying to mount the belt tensioner belts to the back, and if there's you would think the Cubic would have a mounting spot for its own belt tensioner. But final verdict, he said it is a deal for serious sim racers who want to prioritize driver performance and consistency over the visual spectacle. He says it is mature. It's a professional grade tool that offers the most usable physical information available in sim racing.
It's a hard no for me. I just don't get how my body's moving about and I'm trying to be consistent on my pedals while my body's being shifted inches one way or the other. How do you be consistent on the pedals? Well, look, the pedals have to be moving with me and the steering wheel as far as I'm concerned. So this is a hard no. Even if he tells me he was faster with it, I
Well,
would not buy into this.
no, and I agree. I mean, again, when you're in a race car, you're strapped in the car. So the distance between you and the steering wheel doesn't change. Your feet placement doesn't change. The
Right.
relation between your seat and the feet and the pedals don't change outside of the the force of gravity. When you brake, yes, you will move forward, backward, stuff like that, but it's not dramatic enough. I mean, again, you're one unit with the car. I mean, everything it's all connected. No piece is moving by itself. If you're in a race car and your seat's moving by itself, you got a huge problem.
All right, the rig we got to try out at the Sim Gaming Expo is featured in this next video, Mike.
Yeah, DDX Prime is the name of it, by Driven Dynamics. And I do believe this was filmed by our friend Osa, friend of the podcast. But this video is amazing. They show the split screen where the driver is in the actual car at the Nürburgring on one side, and then the driver is in the DDX Prime on the other split screen, and then they time it up where you can see where they're going at, at the same point of the same track, and so the movement of the driver being thrown around from the motion is identical. I mean, it's identical. So it was really telling how dialed in the DDX Prime is as far as the motion goes. It trying to match up with real life. I had no idea that it was dialed in that well until I saw this video.
This definitely goes to show that, especially at this price range, this is the sim for teams, like basically real racing teams, is essentially.
This is the one that was probably what, about 130 grand.
Yeah,
I
this
believe it
was
was closer to
super expensive.
160. It
Yeah.
was fun to drive though. I particularly, I still remember though that the best part of it was the belt tensioner on the right. And I know Brad's favorite part of it was the wind sim and what it did to my beard.
That's what we liked about it.
All right, we have a wheel that just dropped. Can you pick the topic up, John?
Sure can. The LMZ Evo has been revealed. It's from ZenSim Wheels, I believe, is the name of the company. It's a $1,300 LMP style forged carbon plate front wheel. Uh, you know, we talked earlier about the new Moza, the new Moza wheel being what, $329. This one's $1,300. I looked at that price and thought, why wouldn't I just get the Moza? But it's a nice looking wheel, kind of a uh,
I
thin
like the
looking
thin
wheel.
look to it. Yeah.
That's what I like too. It's very thin. It's very cool looking.
It looks high end. It's got that high end look to it. It looks like the Bavarian sim racing one, if you remember those guys, which are similarly priced.
And the display actually looks pretty nice as well. I don't know what it is about that one, but um, it looks a little bit different. It's got the LED lights around it. It's got everything on it you need, but it's just a question of price versus what's out there on the market.
€1,229. There's a second post with some still photos of it as well. But the 3 paddles on each side on the back.
I scroll down to the next topic, Brad, and this one actually almost hurts my eyes.
Why?
I don't know. It almost looks like too much,
Too
and it's
big?
too big and out of proportion. It's like square
Really
instead of
tall.
rectangular. Yeah, uh,
Thick.
it's just I don't know.
Yeah, this is the Picorni Engineering. So Picorni Engineering is you can do the DIY route. They basically sell you all the stuff you need or give you the plans for everything you need to build a wheel. But for this one, you can buy it already. You can do it made to order as well. But yeah, I mean, it's inspired by the hypercar wheels. So think of your Cadillacs, Toyota, uh, Porsche, Ferrari, and stuff like that. Where you probably need 800 different buttons to adjust stuff. But yeah, I would get lost. I don't even know. I don't even know. I can't imagine what I would need to map all this to. I mean, I literally don't have everything mapped on my Q Controls F core. I run I mean that's I don't know, what is there, one, two, what, six rotaries, five rotaries, and I mean one, what, four encoder. Yeah, I'd be lost.
I think what it is, David, that throws me off visually is you have the grips, and then the wheel extends another inch or two above the grips. I mean, there's this tallness to it.
Yeah, which makes me wonder if those upper buttons are actually just a little bit out of reach or not. You definitely can't have the three vertical buttons across the top like you do on some of the layouts. Um, but trust me, when you're driving a GTP, you can map a lot of buttons,
What
especially if you're
what I'm
also
saying.
doing stuff in iRacing where you're using the buttons to manage your pit controls and all. So most of my buttons get tied up, but it may be something like the weather report and the damage report, right? Button flash, two push to talks, one for the game, one for Discord, windshield wiper, a windshield wiper one time use.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've got all
yeah,
those on mine too. I mean, yeah, it's just again, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot going on there.
dude. You can change in the. I don't mess with all of them, but you can change the the brake system in the LMP or in the GTP to and to where and the hybrid system on how much the hybrid kicks in at different stages. It can get pretty complicated.
And we also have a video from Dan Suzuki about another Picorni wheel. This one, the F499, which is a Ferrari replica kind of wheel. Um, it's a DIY just like the other one. Price can range from 450 to £1,000. Um, you can do the fully assembled, ready built one for £1,350. He liked it. Final verdict concludes the F499 as one of the most complete steering wheels for prototype and hypercar enthusiasts. It's perfect for those who want a professional grade wheel and don't mind a bit of software configuration in SimHub. But if you're DIY, you got to look at this brand if you want to build your own.
And we do know a guy that can print it for you as well. All right, it's not a pedal, but it is from Huskinville, John.
Yes, it is. Huskenfeld has announced and displayed their upcoming display dash, which is uh, it's got a display dash on it, rotary buttons, push buttons, and honestly, I've never seen one of these before. This doesn't go on a steering wheel. I guess you would just mount it beside your steering wheel somewhere
The
on your
button
rig.
box.
I mean, it's basically a button box with a dash on it.
Well, that and then if you look under the rotaries, you know, there's individual LCDs to where you can actually change what they are as well. So it's not like having to put a sticker with what you want. Think of think of a Stream Deck where you can set, Stream Deck, you can put whatever image you want to put on the buttons. This is something similar. I think it's super cool looking. I
Does
know
that mean
I gave 'em a bunch of grief on the wheel that they need to stay in their lane. But this is pretty neat. It'd be interesting to see what it looks like when we get the final version. This looks like it's some sort of either not necessarily 3D printed or some sort of composite rubber, plastic or something. But
Real
I
thin,
think
too.
yeah, it's a really good idea. You
does
know,
that mean the roadies are programmable per car? Like you can actually switch what it says?
Don't
um,
know. Don't know
I
yet.
don't, I don't, I don't know yet. So it depends on what the SimHub integration is. So if it's something to where you can do that, like with SimHub, like the dashes, like the top dash, you can set that by car. So I would hope that there may be some functionality there to where depending on what vehicle you get in, you could have a different layout of the buttons, which would be really cool.
Yeah, whatever car it's displaying right now is one of the hybrids, whether it's a Formula or a hypercar, because that's what the MGU stands for.
Now, it's not for sale yet. It says available in the spring of 2026. Yeah, more to come on this, but look, if I'm in the market to buy a button box, I'm probably going to wait, take a hard look at this. This has a neat look to it.
Well, if they're looking at about 300 euros approximately, that's honestly for what you're getting here, that's cheap.
That's a
If you're
good
looking at
price.
if you're
Yeah.
looking at $350, that's stupid cheap.
All right, let's hit one more before we go to results. Mike, tell us about the next one.
Well, on TikTok, we had Rabo Camado post up a video, RIP his G29, and he's literally got it smoking. Smoke coming out of it. He calls it point of view at 100% force feedback.
So I had a G25 that was gear driven. I'm assuming that the G29 is gear driven as well, right?
I think so. Yeah, it's the same thing, but just a newer version of.
I don't. I mean, you really couldn't turn the force feedback up much. I mean, it was what it was. I don't remember there ever being a whole lot of adjustment being made to it.
Well, when you play the video and you kind of look at the smoke coming out of it, it almost looks to me like an electrical fire, like uh, insulation's being burned off of a hot wire or something.
Yeah, I can't get it to play, so
All right, we're gonna do results. Okay, so I'm sorry about the delay, but let's talk the Daytona 24 hours first. Brad, Will, Jacob, and Will, a P6.
uh yeah, so this was 12th split of the 7 a.m. start. So the main time slot. Um Jacob really skewed our rating. He's almost 5K. So we got thrown up pretty high. But started P16. We'd find ourselves as the top finishing non Porsche car in the GT3 class. Had quite a bit of unforced errors by some other cars. Had a couple spins and a disconnect along the way. So, the guys ran a really good race. For the most part, we kept the car clean. We did have, I think we had about a minute of damage to get fixed one time when William got loose in the bus stop. But we really had zero chance to win this just because of the horrible BOP that was gifted to the Porsches. They were getting at a minimum two more laps per fuel tank. Great drafting, ridiculous amount of stability through the bus stop. Um, if you came out of the bus stop and regardless how good of a run you had, and if there was a Porsche that was 5 to 6 tenths behind you. He was passing you by the time you got to turn one. You could come off same way. We were in the Merc, and if we came off the same way with a great exit out of the bus stop at 4 tenths, you maybe get to his bumper, but that's all you were doing. So, regardless, we had a good time. This was Will's first 24-hour race, and he's hopefully learned how he needs to prepare next time, not the way he did this time. He was pretty much gassed. He did not take any opportunities to get some sleep in along the way, and but it was fun. I mean, we got to know each other a little bit over the course of 24 hours. And yeah, I mean, again, our goal was, when we got in, there was 33 cars in the class, and there was only 7 that weren't Porsche. And at that point, our goal was to try to be the top finishing non-Porsche. But just a little deflated when the leader, you know, because of the BOP, actually makes one less fuel stop than you make. It was really no chance to win, but we had a good time. So we'll take a P6 and going down the road, we did good. We only, I think I had I think I had about 12 incidents or something was all I had. So super happy with that to come out that low.
Do you feel like the BOP was wrong then for that to happen?
Oh, it was very wrong. It was just very wrong. I mean, the Porsche had been lights out all week ahead of that. I mean, again, when there's 33 cars, I mean, look, it looked like a Porsche Cup race. There was 3 Mercedes. What do we have? 3 Mercedes, 2 Astons, 1 Ferrari, and a Lambo. That was it. Everything else was Porsches. You couldn't do anything with them, dude. It was absolutely crazy. The draft they got was insane, and then again, just the fuel mileage. I mean, we had to fuel save to stretch to 30 laps. They could run full. They no fuel saving. They were able to run 32. Fuel saving. They could run 33 laps. You just can't. There's nothing you can do. You run 2 or 3 extra laps every stint. Again, there's no way to compete.
Is it coincidence that the newest car that's out for sale is the one that always gets the best BOP?
Well, this wasn't the newest car,
Oh,
but I mean, it's just they gave it it was 1.5% power reduction, but they did the same thing to the Merc. And the Merc was not quicker to begin with, and they added weight to both of them. So they just missed it. I mean, they just flat out missed it. If you read the forums were pretty hot with how stupid the BOP was. They just got it dead wrong, and this is probably the worst BOP I've ever seen, especially on the GT3 side.
all right. Mike, Tom, David, and Kyle, P3. David, get us started here. You actually led a lot of the race.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I don't feel excited with this podium, man. When you get wrecked out of the lead twice, not once, but twice, not because of being over aggressive or anything, but just because people make mistakes in front of you and you can't avoid it. It's pretty soul crushing. So that's what happened. We led probably for 12 hours of the race, if not more. Um, I started off, got off to a really good start. I qualified P5, and I never really lost complete touch with the leader getting through traffic the first time around. And then every one of us it had at least good pace, and none of us made any major mistakes. Um, but first, Kyle's in the running. Um, I think I was running when we took the lead because the leader that was about 40 seconds in front of us wrecks, and they fall 6 minutes behind. Then Kyle's running, and about 6 laps in, we're coming out of the bus stop. We enter staying behind a GTP or no, a GT3 and an LMP. The GT3 is in front and he just gets loose, turns and spins out to the right, hits the LMP, knocks him sideways, and we get sandwiched between them, meatball. Boom. And we lose the lead there. We're about 4 minutes down. And then I go, you speak of rest. I made sure I would go take naps between my stints when I had a long break. I get up and we're back in the lead. While Tom was running, they put in a Division 10 driver, a very new driver. They had a lot of guys on the team, and they put him in. He only ran the minimum laps. So he only ran like 31 laps for their team because they had 7 members on their team. But he lost that 4 minutes to us just struggling. He was not able to drive the car. Um, so we got back to even with him when we were trading off the lead, and I'm running, and an LMP2 gets upset after turn one and comes flying back onto the track and knocks me into the wall for 12 minutes of damage. Nothing I could do. So it really this should have been the one, but we had not once but twice got taken out from the lead with unavoidable accidents.
And that put us to third, and we basically finished it off from there in third. I ended up running my stint, which was clean, except I did get a 40-second penalty for going left of the yellow cones instead of between the two yellows. A mistake for not practicing hit road entrance, but a good race for me. And I was happy with the P3. But look, I was hoping for the win. You guys were leading, like you said, for a long time, and It was looking good, but hey, it is what it is. We'll get him next time.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't have any idea even who spun in front of us. I never looked it up. It was obvious, real racing accidents. It wasn't um, poor racecraft. It was just one guy got loose and the other guy got loose, and I've gotten loose. That happens. So I don't even think they would have gotten penalties in a real live stewarded race.
All right, let's talk other official. I ran the Toyota GR86 Cup Series fixed at Nürburgring. I got a P3 in the first one, started P4, had a fairly clean race, and snookered the guy on the last lap to steal third and get a podium in my first run in this car at the ring. Next up, started pole position, was able to win it. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. I had a great battle with the guy for the first lap and a half. It was pretty much full contact sport. He was roughing me up, and I was racing him the same way he was doing me. At one point, he got a little squirrely in front of me, and I spun off my nose. I went on to win the race. Not how I wanted to do it, but hey, we'd take it. Next one started pole position. Me and the other guy ended up pulling out for a 27-second lead on the rest of the field. He stayed with me the whole time. I raced my butt off, but he never got to me, and I won the race 2 in a row. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Next one, I started second, got to the lead, and then got ran over from behind and dumped. Moving over to Ringmeister, we ran the Ford Mustang FR 500S. Boy, a really good sounding car, fast, but it won't turn. It won't turn. But guess what? I won in the first race attempt in this new car. I just bought it. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Doing the Ringmeister thing. I get it done. Then top split started 14th, got to third by the end of lap one. Wow, what an impressive run. But then I made a mistake and hit the wall and killed the car. Meatball. Next started a pole position, hit a curb and wrecked myself out while leading. Ouch. Then I started third and finished P4. Pretty uneventful race in top split. The top three drove away from me, though. I had nothing for them. And then pole position fell to third about halfway through and got loose without even hitting the curb, then spun out and wrecked. Moving on to the Polar Series, David P9.
Yep. Everybody in front of me is like a 4,000, 5,000 I rating, so I can't be too disappointed. That there were just a lot of fast drivers in there. We ran caution free again. If you want to find clean racing, when you've been complaining about all the sloppy racing and officials, this is a place to come race.
Doug Beatty, P12, ran the race from the back of the pack, trying to learn from the other drivers and running consistent lap times. Finished 3 laps down, mainly because of a black flag too fast entering pits. John, P14.
P14, not winner, winner, chicken dinner. Got dead last. Got wrecked before we even made it to turn one. And it wasn't done on purpose, I don't think. I think it was just somebody got a little impatient. You got to remember, you don't win or lose on lap one. What happened was, I think the guy thought he could squeeze between me and the wall.
Well,
And
well, you can't win on lap one, but you can definitely lose on lap one.
well, I did, as a matter of fact. That's what happened to me. But just you don't do that 5 seconds into a race. You just don't do it. Wasn't a smart move, but whatever. Move on to the next week. Get over it.
Grassroots Racing at Road Atlanta, Brad, P8.
Yeah, this was the last race for season 6. So ended up P8 in class, P11 overall. Started 26th, so they screwed the server setup when they did the server. We normally have 10 minutes of qualifying with 4 laps. We had 10 minutes of qualifying with 1 lap by mistake, and I had gotten off track right off the bat, so that did me in. So started all the close to the back. Not my best track. I just can't seem to. I don't know. I like Road Atlanta. I just cannot. I can't race here very long, consistent. But whatever. Should have finished probably a little bit higher, but I killed the tires over the last 10 laps, just trying to run down the guy ahead of me. Almost ran out of fuel because the white flag was delayed a lap. It was really weird. So I even said something to David. We took we came around and there was zero time left on the clock, and we didn't get the white flag. I understand that it goes off the leader at times, but I can't think of a time where I've ever had that happen. So, I mean, myself, 10th and ninth, we were all just putting around the on the white flags.
Well,
We're afraid we were going to run out. Um,
I believe this is how it would happen if the leader is right behind you.
well, he was probably 20 to 30 seconds behind us.
There you go. So he's taking the white flag when it hits zero, where it, or when it's close to zero, and because you were so far behind him, you're just going to have that extra lap to run.
Yeah, the problem is that iRacing doesn't calculate that even with having an extra lap in there. The fuel didn't calculate. JRT told me the same thing that the game told me. So
I
it is.
always do an
What it
extra
is.
lap over what JRT calculates.
What I'm saying is, in iRacing, the auto fuel had an extra lap, and that still wasn't enough. So whatever, it is what it is. But so yeah, we're gonna run a little mini season in between now and when the start of season two will start to get back onto the regular schedule with following the officials. But so that'll start in 2 weeks. I do want to give out a huge congrats to teammate William Westbrook. So he won the GT3 Pro Championship. So William had a fantastic season, multiple wins, just did a really, really good job. So he grabbed the championship, and it's been fun. Has not been a good season for me, multiple DNFs, but I do enjoy running with them on Tuesday, and going to try to get back to where we're going to mirror the official races closer, so which I like because it gives me an opportunity just to get more practice before the officials.
Okay, let's jump to final thoughts. Brad Rent.
Or maybe I can give my result from the league as well.
Oh, did I miss that? Sorry, David. I didn't
Yeah.
see your result listed there.
Is it not listed? I thought I typed it in.
It's not.
Was it not in there earlier? I put it in earlier.
No.
I keep having results disappear. That's not the first time. But yeah, I came in P11. Was doing okay, and then I had an incident with a, a lapped down GT3 car that was coming out of the garage from doing repairs, and he comes out and races me into turn one, and uh, then doesn't clear me, and that kind of started a downhill spiral. The last couple of laps, it was just extra unstable, and I spun out a few times, and actually ended up with a drive through, and that dropped me to P11.
Yeah, there was a couple new guys in there, some lower I rating guys, and um, there was some sketchy stuff happening. Just guys racing too hard when they were a lap down, and they were ended up having to remind them that in class, if you get the blue flag, you need to go ahead and pull over. You're not racing.
Well, this was out of class, but he was not up to normal speed because he was coming out of the pits,
Oh, I got you.
and it ended up just and it so I would have really had to slam on the brakes to stay behind him. So I tried to go around him on the outside, and he just cleaned me out.
All right, Matt.
Final thoughts. So, this weekend's the actual Daytona 24 hours. So, the real deal. So excited for racing to get started again. Gonna enjoy the weekend watching that. Kind of an off week for iRacing for sports cars. Track selection's pretty sucky. So, haven't done much this week, and plus just kind of just exhausted from the weekend. I did get a little bit of sleep, but older I get, getting 3 hours of sleep and then getting back up to getting into the rig is it's not as easy on the body as it once would have been. But I think I managed better than some guys that were on the team with me that were considerably younger than me. I think I still managed better than them. But yeah, we're a few weeks away from NASCAR starting back up and everything else. So it's about time to get busy, and it's going to be back to the grind like we always talk about. NIS will be here, and it'll be 2 nights a week, and we'll grind it out and see what happens. But yeah, racing season is almost here.
All right, David Hall, final thought.
Yeah, I as long as I get an 8 hours a day sleep and stay on that regimen, I don't struggle, I guess, so much. I've several times I guess I'm good at napping, is what I'm saying. So but it needs to be about an hour and a half nap. If you go 3 hours, it tends to wake up in the wrong part of the sleep cycle. But I would nap between each stint and get up feeling pretty wired. Plus the fact that I can take in caffeine through basically dry scooping pre-workout, that doesn't hurt either. Um, I thought we had it this time, man. When we finally had the luck go our way to have the leaders take themselves out, and then we got taken out not once but twice. So it's the most unsatisfying podium I think I've ever experienced.
Yeah,
And
it's a
and
little
again,
bittersweet.
iRacing stewards, get your shit together if you're not gonna even enforce the rules that you have on the books.
All right, John Curley, final thought.
Yeah, I probably will do some racing this weekend. I think the high temperature here for the next 5 or 6 days is about 4 degrees. So I'm not getting out. I'm going to race. Probably get ready for Daytona. It's time to get out the Cup car, run some laps, be ready for the new season. That's what's on my agenda.
Some other final thoughts on the 24. We didn't have the result on a script, but Bobby Jonas and Joe Owens were running a car with a couple of other guys, and apparently one of them never showed up for their stint, and so they ended up being DQ'd out, I believe. So tough break for Bobby. That is so not cool to do when you agree to be on a team and then you don't show. And no message or no call or no hey I lost power or hey my wife beat me and I had to go to the hospital. Nothing. The guy said nothing to them
Mike is
about it.
Mike is projecting.
So the other thing on the 24 is I was watching David Hall race and I was watching from above. My stupid Moza pedals are moving around. They're clinking every time he shifts the gear. They clink and they're buzzing and he locks up the brakes and my pedals lock. They make a little buzz. And why are my pedals active while I'm not in the car? I don't understand that.
Because it's the same way that crew chief will talk to you. Because when you're in a team, the game acts the same way as if it was you in the car. Just you're not. It's an iRacing issue.
So,
Okay.
no, my butt kicker doesn't go off when somebody else is in the car.
Well, neither do my haptics, but the spotter will yell at you and all of that. So it's an iRacing thing.
Yeah, Moza has some work to do, obviously. Final thing, I don't get it, but I'm winning. I'm winning races like nobody's business in brand new cars I just buy. And I don't know what it is, but I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It is such a good feeling to win and to do it like multiple times a week, which is what I'm pulling off here recently. It's like the creme de la creme. It's the whole reason we do this, guys. Find you a niche like I did and win some races. It is a blast. With that, we'll see you on the track later. Okay.